I'm doing a gig for the head of Sony Music. He just retired.
Really?
Holy shit.
Wait.
Tommy Mottola? Wasn't that he was?
That kind of sounds like.
I think he was the head when he married Mariah Carey when he was the president of.
Whoa! This is the guy you just gave me material.
Tommy, I don't think it's Tommy Mottola.
No, he's.
What if this exposes me as actually being a rich kid? I go, that's my dad.
You still do jokes about him being married to Mariah Carey and goes, sorry, I thought you were Tommy Mottola.
He goes, that's the best roast I've ever seen in my life.
When I took this gig, I thought you were Tommy Mottola.
I was only doing this because I thought I have a bunch of Mariah Carey jokes that I thought were going to murder.
No, Martin Bandier, chairman and CEO of Sony ATV Music forever, and he's retiring.
Let's take a look at him. We'll roast his ass right
Bring
now.
him up.
This is him right here.
Oh, look at this
that's
guy.
Him. That's the picture they sent me. That one, right? The second one.
That guy. You could smell the money through the picture. That is so much fucking money.
He looks like the guy who hides the vaccine for AIDS.
Yeah. He looks like yeah.
What I remember very much before I started doing comedy, I think several years before I even thought of doing it, on my mom's TV in her bedroom, I would watch on Philly 57 Uptown Comedy Club.
Wow.
Which is where I saw you and Rob Magnotti were the white guys with Maceo and Monterey Ivy and all these guys on this show, and it was. Wow. I mean, you guys started so many bits. I remember the Drunk Cops.
Yeah, Top Cops.
Yeah. That, with Maceo, you would do. And then it was very cool when I started working the comic strip. When I first got to New York, Maceo was like a regular. I think he's like a cruise ship guy now.
I think so
ultimately.
too,
But Maceo was a comic who was around, and when I'd see Magnotti and these guys, I'd be like, wow. To me, that registered from Uptown Comedy Club. But I also, starting in Philadelphia, just by where it was and the timing, and it was after the fall, I guess, of several comedy clubs in Philadelphia, and all that remained was the Laugh House, which is a black comedy club. Wow. And that's where I started. I only did the black comedy circuit for years, like before I ever crossed over into the mainstream stuff at all. So knowing that world, when I got to perform at the Browns place, the Uptown Comedy Store there, that was such a cool thing for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
and to do well, I mean, pandering wildly, I'm sure, but doing well still. But I knew how to pander nice in the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's quite a throwback.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
1992, 93, 94.
Did that feel? I mean, that had to feel at the How long were you in comedy when that popped up?
I started in 85.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say started, it means I started dabbling.
Right.
Like just open mics occasionally.
I would start at a rock club.
Were you in college or something?
No, high school.
High school still?
Oh, shit.
So in high school, I would go to this rock club called February's on Hempstead Turnpike in Elmont.
Okay.
And it was a rock club.
Yeah.
So me and my friends and my friend would say, you need to MC. And I would MC, and my first joke was, because Live Aid just came out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I remember this. And Live Aid, I was looking for an Ozzy joke because Ozzy was on.
Mm-hmm.
So my very first joke was, did you guys see Live Aid? How great was Ozzy? You know, you had Freddie Mercury and U2, but when they threw the Ethiopian on stage and Ozzy bit his head off, and there's 8 people going, yeah, Brewer, you're the best. And then I was doing this place called February's, which was a rock club, and they would play Metal and Priest and all these guys. And then I went to Governor's in Long Island.
Yeah.
And I played there 3 times, and I really thought I was going to be discovered immediately. That's how cocky and confident I was.
But also
I reached out to managers in a Yellow Pages about a month in the comedy. I was like, well, time to get some fucking muscle behind this muscle.
Hilarious.
Some muscle behind this muscle.
Because I started in the internet age. I remember submitting to like a Sierra Mist competition in 03. And I was like, well, they'll probably pluck me out of Tucson, and it'll be cool to buy a car in the first month. But you're talking about working at February's. You're like 16, 17?
No, I was 17,
That's
about
still
to turn 18.
Fucking crazy. You're like 17. You're like, let's go rip it at Governor's. I was 26 driving out to Governor's. Like, fuck.
I was 19. when I started.
I was 20. Yeah, I was 21 when
But it took me 5 whiffs of not even going on stage before attempting to go on.
And
but
then,
you felt comfort there because people knew you though too a little bit.
No, nobody. No.
You were just going-
yeah,
I was
it
around
was
my
the
friends.
shows. The shows.
Yeah,
the show
the
before
shows.
that, yeah, the
And
rock
then-
show.
And then I went into acting, and I got some jobs. But then my family moved to Florida, and that fucked me up. 'Cause
Okay.
it threw me way off course.
Yeah.
And so 1989, I was watching Arsenio Hall, and I said, God, I want to go back to stand-up. God, I want to go back. Why don't I follow my stand-up career? In 1989, I'm watching, or it was 88, something like that, Arsenio Hall, and Eddie Murphy's on there. And Arsenio goes, so, Eddie, there's a lot of young comedians out there. What, you got any advice for them? And Eddie Murphy looked at the screen. He goes, don't listen to your mother. Your mother tell you to fall back on stuff. You can never fall back. If you want to be a comedian, just do it 100%. If you're gonna do something, you got to do 100%. You can't be 20% here, 40%. And I went, holy shit, he's talking to me. and so I saved all my money
Yeah.
in Florida as a waiter for a year. And I said, I'm going to take off and go full blown and never look back. And that was 1989, July. And I went to a place called Ron Bennington's Comedy Scene.
Hell yeah.
At the Radisson Inn, Clearwater, Florida.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
And then,
Fucking 30 years ago.
yeah.
Fucking, that's
Yes.
awesome.
And then 2.5, 3 years later, I was featuring, which means you do 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Headlining, but I should not have been headlining. And then I said, I got to move to New York, LA.
By the way, did you get just not to sidebar here too much, but did you get like a nice coked up, whacked out Ron Bennington?
Yeah.
We're all dying to know what a minute
Oh, man.
with a
We
night
only-
with him would be like. That was like.
Yeah, we only
Well,
know we know reformed, successful Ron
I know
Bennington.
smooth jazz, old
Yeah.
junkie story Ron Bennington.
I know-
I want to hear the fucking.
Yeah, I know-
Ron Bennington doing like fucking Fred Astaire flips off a wall.
That's what I want. I've gotten double glasses on the head, chomping at a cigar, wise tales, Ron Bennington.
Yes.
I want a guy that's fucking waitresses are nervous to be alone with.
dressed like fucking AC Slater.
Yeah. I want the fucking give us the dirt. Yeah.
Ron Bennington, it was called the Ron and Ron Show, and it was on like 98 Rock, and he was the biggest radio DJ in the Tampa, St. Pete, Florida. I mean, he was huge.
And that's literally coming from, he just went on the radio to promote the comics from the comedy club, and they were like, you're pretty great. You want to just be on the show? And he was like, yeah.
He goes, cool, let me step into this and be a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so he only showed up once in a blue moon. And when he showed up,
Yeah.
it was like Rodney Dangerfield showing, but Dangerfield's, you were you're like, holy shit, Ron Bennington's here. Oh
Now-
my God. I don't want to. I'm going up. Dude, I'm not going up tonight. My set's not tight enough. I can't fucking go in front of Ron. And he would go up and he would talk about Philadelphia and he would do his set like, oh my God, it's Ron Bennington.
Did he wear robes like Rodney? he's in a terry cloth. He's like, hey, we're all gonna get laid. It's like, fucking Ron was a swinger.
He was a swinger.
Yeah, God for Ron.
He was in with the Phillies and the Hooter girls. It was huge.
80s Hooters girls.
He was full blown rock star.
That's Vanilla Dan
Yeah.
10s.
I see he was
He
a
was
rock
full
star.
blown rock star.
I fucking love Ronnie B.
Yeah, extremely intimidating. It was
Yeah.
huge.
I'm still intimidated by him.
And that's in 1991. I said I'm moving back to Long Island in my friend's basement. And in 6 months, I got the Uptown Comedy Club.
Wow.
And then, so I kind of got shot out of a cannon quick. And 2 years on there, and then development, and me and Chappelle are gonna have a sitcom, and then Saturday Night Live. It all happened really quick.
Yeah, but you moving from Florida to New York, and you're featuring, you're doing some headlining work down there. When you moved to New York, do you notice that your jokes worked? Like, 'cause
My jokes worked, but everyone hated me,
okay.
and
You're saying the Black Club?
No, but I'm saying
Cena?
like I'm just saying like when I moved from Tucson to New York, and I was doing the same thing. I was featuring, which was a stretch in Tucson, and emceeing, and I moved here, and I was like, oh, I was totally wrong. I had to do a thing where I was like, tear it all down. We gotta restart everything.
I did too, and I hated certain comics because they were such dicks.
Yeah.
I hated Mark Maron. I hated Louis C.K. I hated all these motherfuckers because they were dicks.
Were they just like snobby?
They were snobby, fuck you, look down on me. So my attitude was like, well, fuck you. I'm going to crush you.
Yeah.
And through time, and even Attell at one point, I was like, well, fuck you. You go on stage and you insult me when you go up on stage. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm going to crush you.
I love it.
And so
0 to 60 Dan loves
so
that.
I came with my feather. I came
Yeah.
like, hey, fuck you guys. I'm just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Mark and they all, Dave, we all eventually, it was all cool after a while.
Yeah.
Mark eventually apologized, and I even fucked with Mark at one time because Mark was all about, I'm not doing TV, man. I'm too cool for TV and all that. And so he's like, and before I would go on stage, he'd go, Brewer, you're gonna go out and woo him with your animation.
Oh, dude. Let me tell you something.
I swear to God. And
me tell
I'd
you
be with
something.
my
As a
wife.
guy-
I'm
What a
like,
shitty thing to say
as
to
a
somebody
guy-
before they go on, and you're not really friends.
and I'm like, dude, why are you being a dick?
Dude.
I'm just trying to do my time.
You're getting me riled
And then
up.
I would do a set, and then Attell would go up after me. He's like, "Let's hear it for Brewer and his hand puppets." They're like, fuck you, Dave, you cunt. Sorry, I don't talk about fucking dead hookers. Sorry, I'm not as intelligent as all you guys.
Yeah.
And
So fucking funny.
So yeah, I had a problem when I first got here, and then Louis never gave me a problem, but I just felt like he just didn't. He just looked at me. He was like, ugh.
You can feel that, I guess, sometimes. I try. I hope it reads, but I make a concerted effort because I was helped so much, ironically, by Dave Attell helped me a bunch of my career. Patrice, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Bobby Kelly, who have helped me in my career.
Bobby-
I just saw him
I've
Bobby-
always,
Bobby-
in Aruba.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby was just down there
Yeah.
with his family and doing shows.
Yeah.
But people that have helped me like that, so when I'm on the road and like the features and hosts, I'm always like trying to be very cool too, and like
Yeah.
hang out, take them to lunch or something, just because I know how much that meant to me.
I
It's
learned,
huge.
Jay, from those days, I would never treat other comics like that.
Yeah.
Whether I liked them or not liked them, I would never do that to another comedian ever.
Sure.
And so now I want to make it clear that that was the beginning.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
That's you. That's you
that
being a
was
new comic up from
new
Florida.
guy.
You got a chip on
And
your shoulder too.
You're,
yeah,
and you're
that's
like
what I'm saying.
from here, and you're back to New York, so you're kind of like.
I'll show you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
the good-looking, gonna be on TV guy.
Yeah. And they're
And they-
like
and they-
artsy and like.
Yeah.
they're like-
Fuck you and your artsy bullshit.
fuck
Fucking
you.
beatniks.
Yeah.
they're like,
Beatnik
yeah,
assholes.
like, dating is weird. Dating is weird.
Yeah.
Well, because you had comedy, I assume that wouldn't work well in like the coffee shop. I've never had that either, where I can go to the coffee shop. They're always like, they're so very poo-pooing of it.
But I also realized I don't need to go there.
Right.
I don't need that crowd. It's not my crowd.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a pretty important thing for a comic
Find
to
your
learn.
audience. Yeah.
If I play baseball, as a comedian, I compare myself to a baseball player. I don't want to sing or walk. I want the, oh my, the outfielder didn't even walk. It's in the upper deck. I flip the bat.
Yeah, Barry Bonds those
I
motherfuckers.
Take a
walk
trot.
real slow around the bases, and I eye the pitcher going, try to throw me inside again, stupid.
Yeah.
That's it. It's you learn. Okay, I only swing at fastballs, and the fastballs I'm knocking the upper deck. I'm not gonna woo you with my intelligence,
But
I'm not gonna.
You know, I mean,
I'm not gonna try to talk over your head. That's not me. I'm not that smart. I'm
but
not good.
What's
and everybody
great,
should hope. Everybody should hope that everyone's not the same kind of thing.
well, when you're something
Because the
like,
odds that you're the best at that thing are slim.
but also
Yeah.
being honest with yourself and like what you want to do, because there's a lot of people that be like, I want to do something. I see something else is popular. Let me do that. But if you do yourself, you know, you can be like, because that Barry Bonds thing is, I think we all have that. You want to fucking flip the bat
Hell
at the
yeah.
pitcher and be
But
like,
don't you
fucking,
even get, as you get
nice
older,
job.
like you get the novelty of like, I get still the silliness as a comic, especially you tries to write something that hits people. That you say Jeff Dunham's success, and people always, you kind of, as a young comic, you definitely want to go like, ugh, because he's
Yeah.
doing it with that thing. But at the end of the day, well, someone's got to do that thing. Like,
Well-
no, I don't do that thing, and he does it probably great.
Yeah.
Like, why do I care? It's like it's out of, you should almost be happy it's out of your lane.
Well,
it's not
Jay-
even what you're going for.
Jay, you hit it, and you reach a maturity in life. Like there was a time where I hit in life where I went, "Oh my God, Mark found himself."
yeah,
I was a dick, and I'm sorry, guy. I love you. Now I love you.
What a cool character. He's like,
And I'll never forget Attell one time, which Dave would never remember this. I think it was right before I got Sunday Live, and he kind of pulled me aside.
He wouldn't remember it then.
No, but he goes, you should be on TV. And I went, why do you say? He's like, you're a TV guy, man. I'm surprised TV has it. And I went, oh my God, he gave me a compliment. Like, oh my God, the king of... And so I was like, oh my God, Dave accepted me. And then Louis, no, but it was, you start seeing everyone else mature, and then you're like, you know what? There comes a time, too, where you're not competing against everyone. You just compete against yourself.
yeah.
Yes.
You set yourself goals. And I'm happy for everyone who does whatever.
Takes you a long time to get there, longer than you think.
It's
a
Definitely over. Unless you find very young success, doesn't happen for everybody. Or at least like the success where you're like, I'm good.
No.
And if you find that young, maybe. But I said that when I realized that was one of the interesting things when I got my hour special Comedy Central. The next day, one of the first things that hit me where I was to call Kevin Hart, because I've always had the story like, okay, we lost touch because he went to Hollywood, he became a huge star, and what are you going to do? But I go, I never really worked hard to stay in touch with him either. And I thought of that, and I was like, yeah, I probably didn't want to hear about how fucking awesome shit was going for him constantly. So, you know what I mean? You realize
but
that. It takes maturity to get there.
And even in maturity, you can learn how to go, like, you can actually learn to be the opposite and have someone in your life, you're like, oh, I'm pulling this along. I should just let go of this because clearly I'm the only one that wants this thing. But, like, you can do that with, like, harboring resentment.
Dan, I know what you're getting at, and the lead singer of Korn's been texting me back lately.
Jonathan Davis doesn't care about
He writes back, though.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, everybody says about Gary Clark, and then he wrote back too. But okay, I'm just letting you know. Don't give me your number if you don't want me to text you.
Jonathan Davis. You just bring it up. Yeah.
I'm not going to make it weird, but I mean, once in a while, I'm going to fucking say, hey.
Okay, it would be nice to get text back. It'd be nice to get text back.
There's a lot of blue in them Jonathan Davis texts.
Hey.
There's a lot of swipe ups of blue, and then like a cool man. Hey, he wrote back.
But I mean, even it's kind of cool to hear you say that because as a guy that looks up to you and a guy that dude, the Pesci show with you and Colin is that's like one of the things that I remember clearly where I was when I was watching it, like as a fucking weird 13-year-old, just being like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's great to hear you say stuff about like Louis being a dick to you, and you're like, because I have this incessant need to be liked. It's pretty obvious. I talk about it a lot on the show.
Yeah.
And Louis C.K. is a god, and I got in at the cellar, and he would
hate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody hates
But that's how you walk around. And it was like Louis didn't dislike me, but Louis didn't like me. And for me, that was like a thing where I'm like, do I suck? Am I? And it spiral out of control. And you hear someone else talk about it, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, I'm just.
And I gotta say, he never was blatantly a dick to me.
Yeah.
Just dismissive.
In my head.
Sure.
Yeah.
In my head, he just didn't like me because he didn't give me the time of day, and that really bothered me.
It's the exact same thing. And that
Chris
to
Rock's
me,
Chris Rock's never spoken to me 1,000 times. He's walked past me. And you know what? He's threatened by me. You know I processed that?
Jay goes, he can feel my power radiating off me. He understands that I'm a titan.
He can feel my bigger and blackers coming.
Yeah, but I think it's like it's so fucking relieving to hear someone else say that because you go through it and then you're like home having shower arguments with Louis C.K. where you're like, yeah, dude, well, you fucking jerked off in front of a lady,
you know what it is?
And I'm a good dude, and then you're just getting out and you're like, dude, he did nothing to me, and I'm just fucking.
But when you trivialize your own comedy, even it's the same thing. There's a thing you do that's what makes your comedy unique. You're able to do impressions. You do voices. You incorporate that into your comedy.
But just what he said when he was.
But you think comics like Dave Attell are like cornball,
exactly.
And you can't live in that, man. You're not doing your comedy for Attell.
When you said
that's the big deal. It's not for Attell. Your comedy.
I had that Maron moment with Kevin Brennan where I'm waiting to go up and he goes.
I got stories about Kevin.
But I'm about to go on stage and he goes, you gotta make him laugh with your wrestling noises, and it's just like I don't even know what that means. means. I don't even know what that means. And but then when I learned that that's just Kevin playing with you,
Kevin.
and I'm just like, and I go, right? When I learned that, then I just go, I'll bite your fucking nose off, old man. And then he's just like,
laughs.
He laughs. He texted me while I was on stage and he was following me. Last week at the Cellar, I'm on stage. I get off stage. It's a text from Kevin Brennan. It just says hack. And then I text him back, bitter asshole. And then he texts me back. He goes, oh, I was just sending you that to throw you off when you're on stage.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
yeah.
Kevin's fucking nuts.
But when you realize that it's not, I love Kevin Brennan. And it's like when you realize it's not
right.
He gave Artie a gallon
the-
of bleach on the Anthony Gumia show.
He what?
He gave Artie a gallon of bleach on the Anthony Gumia show.
I mean,
He'll go for it.
He'll go for that punchline.
I've had those moments though.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if Jim Brewer's on our show being like, yeah, I fucking Mark Maron whispered that to me, I'm like, oh dude, I'm just like 0 to 60 Dan's just like barking at the door like,
oh dude, people know. Judah Friedlander early when I first got to New York would go at the Boston Comedy Club. I'm always like a wall leaner, and I guess my elbow was up or something, and he goes, God, man, he goes, when you do comedy, everyone's just we're all in the back just laughing because your hand when you talk just keeps bouncing. It's the thing to tell like a 3-year comic. You're like, oh God.
Oh, fuck,
just when I thought it was pretty cool, I was working the Boston Comedy Club.
Oh, fuck, this sucks. Oh God, this sucks so bad.
You know, it's funny. I got into the Boston Comedy Club doing the Sunday Night There, which was their black show with Talent and Will Sylvans.
Talent, wow.
And that's what I wanted to not to go
Will.
back.
Wow.
Will Sylvans, yeah, not to go back, but because you said you came back to Long Island in your friend's basement, and then 6 months later was on Uptown Comedy Club. What was the lead into like you getting into the black circuit of comedy? Because that show was like
it was because of that. I got into that. And that honestly changed my life on many levels.
I mean, that was just an audition you did?
Yeah.
You weren't doing like you weren't pulled out of like a black comedy rooms at all or anything?
No.
Oh, interesting.
No, as a matter of fact, that changed my life as far as on so many levels. I grew up in Valley Stream, New York, where in Long Island, at the end of my street was the borderline. Across the street was all black. We were all white.
Yeah, like Green Acres Mall.
So if a black guy if we went into the black neighborhood, we'd instantly hear, "Go home, white boy."
Right.
And if they walked down the street by us, the entire neighborhood would stop like a black bear was walking down the street. It was like, holy shit, this fucking, hide the fat white chicks and fucking hide your purses and your bikes. And
the fat white chicks are like, no, don't hide me. No.
Who is this black bear?
It was intense. So it was really intense. So I grew up, I'll say racist. All I knew was black people. I thought rape, killing, murder. I'm gonna get robbed. So now,
did your family perpetuate that? They
It was the news. It was the culture.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the culture. And when I got Uptown Comedy Club, now I'm in Harlem every single night. And all I remember was how much it changed my life. And one of the greatest. I learned so much about life. I saw a guy get shot.
Really?
I'll never forget a changing moment for me there was a couple big changing moments. One was Tracy Morgan was on that show, and me and Tracy became very close. And I know this sounds crazy, but it was a guy named Yee Yee, and I don't remember Yee Yee's real name. And Yee Yee wrote The Top Cops, and Yee Yee looked at me like one animal looking at another. He's like, "Yo, you put stuff in your hair?" Now, what do you mean? He's like, can I touch your hair? Like, you want to touch my hair? And he's like, what is that makes your hair stand? He was fascinated by my hair. And I was like, can I touch your hair? I never touched a black person's hair. I'm being serious. Yeah. And I remember being on the street, and I heard like pop, 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 pop. And it was on 125th and 5th. And Tracy came and he went, "Who got shot?" And I went, "You heard that? It was summertime. It was fireworks." He went, "No, somebody got shot." And I went, "What?" And he went, "They're here across the street." And to this day, I'll never forget. It was like a movie scene. I looked across the street and I saw a guy on all fours struggling for his life. And I went numb. and I'd even pay attention to traffic. I'd just walk to him, and I'll never forget the image of this guy's blood just streaming out of his nuts, his head dripping down on the sidewalk, going into the curb and down into the sewer. And people, there was a big woman going, "Look at you now, motherfucker! You stupid motherfucker! See, I told you!" And I'm like, nobody gives a shit. Like, what is going on? This is so far from anything I've ever seen.
You didn't feel there were cops coming or anything?
No, and then the paramedics came, and they were like, I'm not exaggerating, they were like telling jokes, and while they're telling jokes to each other and laughing, they're like, "You gotta stay still. Hey, if you don't stay still, you're gonna be dead. I'm gonna tell you."
What year is this? Like 1990?
This is 92, 93.
So this is fucking right before Giuliani cleaned. This is New York.
Well, this is also right before that. There was a cop killed by the Nation of Islam, and I'll never forget that. I was in a bodega, and there was a big Nation of Islam guy behind me.
Yeah.
And he started in with me, and I was scared to death. He was like, "You white devil motherfucker, what you doing here, motherfucker?" And I went, "Oh my God, I'm dead. I'm dead." And he had leather, and then, what's his name? Flex.
Yeah.
Flex.
It's just great. I love that. Like,
Flex.
Flex is in juice, too.
yeah.
Flex said, "Yo, man, why don't you get educated? You don't know this kid. You don't know this white boy. He's got more soul than you'll ever have." And those two started going at it. And the Nation of Islam guy called him Uncle Tom. And I was like, "What's an Uncle Tom? What lingo's going on here?" And I learned so much about life, culture, how demographics are held in a position.
He goes, "Wait, this is the story of how you became unracist?"
Seriously, well,
It's telling the story of how you found out Flex was an Uncle Tom.
well, yeah. And I remember one day, that neighborhood loved me so much.
Yeah.
To the point where now is parking in the back streets, and they were all like, "Hey, what's up, white boy? What's up?" And
Because they knew you from the show.
they knew me from the show.
That's awesome.
And they knew I was non-judgment, and now I was like, I feel so safe here. And I remember walking the back streets, and when I was really comfortable there, and they loved me. I'll never forget, there was cops chasing a guy down the street, and this guy was running towards me, and I went, "Oh my God, I could take this guy out hard. I could be a hero to these cops."
Yeah.
And I also saw the whole neighborhood just watching, and I went, if I take this guy out, they're all going to turn on me.
Yeah, you're snitch of the city.
And I just went, I let him run, and he got caught like 20 feet up the road. But me and Tracy had about a 3-hour conversation about black, white, welfare, drugs, why ghettos exist, why our mentality, and I swear in my life and my children's lives to this day, I wish the entire world heard that conversation, because it would have changed so many lives. And one of the things that really I'll never forget, going back to my neighborhood, and you know, because you want to fluff your feathers, and I'm on TV, and I went to this bar that I used to go to all the time, and one of the kids from high school that was a star came up to me. This part's heavy. I don't know if I should say it.
Well, let it rip.
And this is when I realized how much I changed, but how much we're brainwashed, and how much you're just brainwashed. Racism is brainwashing. And he goes, on both sides. It's not just white people. It's another fucking farce.
We do excel at it, though.
We do good, but trust me, it's not just us.
We run.
I mean, you're born varsity, though.
Yeah.
We basically created the West Coast offense of racism. We think and dunk.
We just handle it more in a subliminal manner.
Yeah.
Right?
What
You know
we
what I
do
mean? We're
is-
not so vocal about it.
Racist defense wins championships.
We're just smarter about it, you know, because we're white.
The Europeans have mastered this since
Very
AD.
white. Very white. Very, very white over there.
Right. AD, they've been fucking masterminding this shit. And I swear on my life, there's a moment that changed my entire life. Guy comes up to me, he's like, "Man, it's fucking, I see you on TV." He goes, "What's it like working with them?" But he said the word, and I just looked at him and went, "Yo, it's not what you think. No, I'm actually friends with it." He went, you're friends with that? And I went, yo.
Yeah.
And then I swear to God, I'll never forget. He looked at me. He got mad at me. And he went, oh, I get it, because you get a salary from them. And he just couldn't comprehend. His hatred was so powerful.
I hope you didn't try to explain it to him, because honestly,
I did, but I knew
deaf
right
ears.
there, it's deaf ears.
Yeah.
And that made me go, holy shit, like this is, how do you even begin to change something like this?
I think there is a time where it's too late for people. I've had to just in a smaller scale with just comedy, people, I said, trying to explain to somebody who waits in line of fans to tell me they thought I sucked and I should change what I do, versus going like, don't you feel like maybe you just didn't like it? And maybe I'm not your thing. Like, people don't see that kind of thing, you know. So
but it's also,
for that guy to walk up with the, I'm sorry, Dan, but for that guy to walk up with the confidence, he goes, I'm gonna drop a couple M-bombs. He goes, this guy's gonna be into it. The thing he knows what you're from, and to just go, he goes, this guy's definitely gonna jump on my M-bomb path here.
This is good. This is going to work. It's like one of those things. Sorry, but it's like one of those things we were just talking about, where it's someone else's shit spilling on you. Like, this guy's popular in high school. He's watching his life slip away, realizing that high school might have been the pinnacle.
Right.
And you're on fucking TV, showing up. And the one thing he's got on you, he's like, fuck it, let me just be racist as shit to try to make him feel bad that he's.
But I can honestly say, 5 years before that would have been me.
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna, and I hate when people are like, he said the N-word in 1977. Oh, please.
Yeah.
So people grow, people learn about life.
For the record,
grow,
I said at 2:07 p.m. today.
They mature. If I was judged for things I did in 1983, 1984, 85, I might be in jail.
Yeah.
So
80s were loose.
But that I don't know why I brought all of that, but like, comedy's one
Well,
thing.
I'll say it's an interesting thing.
But it changed my life.
It's an
Uptown
interesting-
Comedy Club was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life.
That's awesome.
I grew up in a neighborhood that was relatively mixed and became blacker as I got older in it. And then I moved to South Jersey, which was really white, very few black people. And then when I started going back to Philly to do comedy, it was the Black Comedy Club, and that's sort of where I landed and started for the first 2 or 3 years. It was mostly what I did was the black comedy circuit. And I mean, less than a year in, I don't remember going to, like, in the beginning there was places that were scary, and there was places where things happened that were bad and scary. But I didn't go to gigs with that thing always like, oh man, we're going into like, there was a rough room, like Manhattan proper, like in Brooklyn. They'd be like, that's the room, like, boy, if it goes bad for a second. But I kind of always knew also I had the pander enough to be like, I know how to be the white guy at these black shows. You know what I mean? I know how to
let me do my white guy in the only room of black people.
You want to hear something funny? This is so years later, okay? Years later, my wife gets born again. It's another whole story. Okay, you get into that story. And she's getting involved with the local church and whatever. So I said, hey, I get suites at Shea Stadium. And she goes, do you ever think you would take them? They're all Cubs fans because they're from Wisconsin, the pastor. I said, why don't I take him to a Mets game? So we're going to the Mets game from Jersey, and we're in the worst traffic ever. So I get off the Harlem River Drive, and I went, I'm going to go through Harlem, because I know Harlem. So as I'm going through Harlem, I my kids' lives, I'm going through, and I see these people like petrified. They're like, oh my God, if we break that, this is the worst place we could be.
From Wisconsin, so they're completely out of their element.
Way out of their element. And I swear on my life, you can't even, if you wrote this in a movie scene, they'd go, it's too over the top. We're at a red light, and I looked at this guy, Sean, who was sitting next to me. I went, Sean, I know you look worried, but I gotta be honest with you. If it all went down, this is the place I would go, because this is the place I would feel the safest. I said, this community would welcome me with open arms. And he looked at me and went, really? And just as that happened, I hear, pow! And I looked, and there's a guy with his wife and kid, like, yo, let me get a picture, Jim Brewer. I love you, man. You real. And I went, oh, shit.
That's so great.
Oh, shit. And it happened at every red light. And it wasn't like you're the guy from Half Baked. They were like, you're the guy from Uptown
Comedy Club.
Yeah,
You're
that's
the
fucking
real guy.
Awesome, dude. That's fucking great.
That's your audience, dude. 85-year-old man.
White confused old men.
Camel
Hey.
skin jacket.
Do
This
I
is
know
my
you?
audience right here.
Well, yeah.
Guy talking to himself. This guy, big fan of mine. Yeah, love degenerates, dude.
Miss Z-Rock. I'll tell you, the frogs are damn eating the damn lizards. By the way, man, Z-Rock was like my favorite show.
Your reference work is immaculate. Hits me every time. I don't
crazy.
know. Maybe I guess I'm the audience.
Oh, shit, I'll eat it. I should not eat it. Hey, doggy, say what's up to Louis Kid for me.
Yeah, that would make total sense. Hey, doggy. I'm gonna smoke a little more.
What? You're such a bad boy. It's 5:45.
Yeah, play with most of the rules.
Bev's there this week.
She's got questions for you.
Revelation.
It's Mafi from Brilliance.
Stop it. Oh, shit. He's taking a picture of me.
Yeah. Yeah, your eyes don't deceive you.
How
That's
you
him.
doing? $5 for a meet and greet. Let's start making some fucking
We
coin
can
off
make some
this.
fun. Guys, stop pinching yourself. It's him. You're
You
awake.
know me from such scenes as.
Oh, for
You're
sure.
fired. You're
For
hired.
sure.
You're
He's saying it
fired.
to his friend right now. He goes, "Oh man, this guy.
Get down
He's
here.
here,
He's
man.
live. It's Mafi live.
Great day to wear my tightest sweater over a button down.
Oh my God, I want to look like pants that I fucking grew into.
God damn, that guy's ass fills those things
I
out.
mean, what a tush.
I'm jealous of that. Oh, my feet. I'm gonna take
My
a panorama.
my old nemesis.
Time to get a Oh, this guy, he's trying so hard to see you. He's almost muscular.
Should I go kiss him? Just run up and go, hey, hey.
Yeah. Hey, dude.
What are you doing? I go,
What do you think I'm doing? What are you doing?
huh? How much do you like games? You want to eat axe?
What are you doing?
I go, you want to eat axe?
You want to meet X? You want to meet the big dog?
You
You
wanna
meet the
meet-
big
you
dog? What
wanna
are we
meet
doing then?
wags?
Are we touching
Huh?
these?
Are we doing?
Are we
you rub
touching
me, I
this?
rub you. Seesaw? Seesaw? Seesaw?
Dude, he's seesawing with a fat guy right now in the courtyard. I swear to God,
Dude,
get
I swear
down
to
here.
God, yeah. Walking around Christmas tree.
Mafi from Billions sings the
Stop.
standards.
Hey, how are you? Welcome to Midtown. I'm trading up.
This is my town, everybody.
Hey, I'm a fee. It's your favorite character. I'm
Dude, I wish you could do one of those
trading-
moves where you just jump up on the chair and like step down at the back and it goes slow.
Smash my face.
into those chairs.
I would break this thing with my head.
I'll give it a shot if you give it a shot.
No.
Nobody give it a shot.
No.
You don't think I could do it?
If you show Jacob this footage right now,
You don't
he
think
would-
I'm graceful enough that I could do
There's
that?
no way you do that, and I don't want you to have
Bet me
no
$5.
front teeth. So you have to talk like this for like a whole month
Bet
of
me
shows.
$5. Yeah, Mafi from Billions
How
is
you
telling me
doing?
I can't do a chair walk.
I'm a doubter.
You guys picked a good time to
Something
come to
that
New
we
York.
learned at Axe Capital. I start going into things. What would? All right. There's no way you can do that. Dude. There's no way you can do that.
The move where you step up on it and then it
The
slowly goes down.
Charlie
Don't do that.
the Charlie
No,
Chaplin.
that's a long drop in your knees.
Yeah, dude.
Why are you trying to play me out for everybody?
Listen,
Yes, miss,
Arvidas
it's
Silva.
Mafi from Billions.
Hey, how are you?
It's not what you think. We're out
I'm
here doing
a regular guy. I
more
walk, I
about-
talk, I drink Dunkin' Donuts.
It's more about me doing this thing right now.
Jay,
Yeah, get your stairs out. Get your stairs in, everybody. There he
Jay?
is in the flesh.
Stop it. This is about you. I need. You can't do this.
Please don't.
You think I can't? Can I definitely not? Maybe not in these shoes.
Look how high up it is.
Maybe not in these
Also,
shoes.
the way it's
You're on
weighted.
the step stool.
Huh?
You don't like going on the step stool. That's
Why are you telling my friends all my secrets?
You said that confident. You're blowing my spot.
Jay, you know you have that third nipple you're afraid they're going to see if you go to the hospital. Shut up!
Jay, you get queasy when you get off balance.
Jay, you get nervous when you see three people at the same time walking together.
Shut up, Jay.
Jay, you cry at cold showers.
Yeah.
Nobody wants me to do it. Tell you what, film crew couldn't be more encouraging. She can't wait to get on World
they're
Star Hip
looking-
Hop.
They're looking for content.
Big
They
Jay
just want
goes
you
down.
busting your ass. They don't want to
Either
see.
way.
They
Can I
don't want to
not?
see Jay Ogerson thrive.
Can I not do it?
This is a not thrive situation.
I can't do this.
I would not suggest trying it on concrete for the first time. Maybe
Can I do
some-
it?
Maybe a matted bottom.
I got to do it. Can I say this?
Yeah.
I'll do it
Okay.
on sweatpants day.
All right. All right. Sure.
I agree. This might not be the look.
No, it's not
Yeah.
the floor for it.
Huh?
It's not the floor for it. You need like a wrestling mat for it to try.
What?
Janet Jackson used a wrestling mat.
What? What is that? That's something you say coming out of a nap.
Janet Jackson. She's doing a wrestling mat. Janet Jackson doing a wrestling mat.
You go, Jay, we gotta go. Jay Jackson on a wrestling
Hang
mat.
on. Yes, sir. It's me, Jay Okerson in the flesh, your favorite.
Yes.
I knew it was you.
50.
Let's go up. Get this on camera. Big Jay Okerson cares.
Hey, this is Dan Soder and Big J Okerson from The Bonfire on Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. Come back next Thursday for a new episode of The Bonfire. I've said The Bonfire a lot.
You said my name.
I did, dude, because I love you.